Morning, everybody. 8:10 a.m. It is November 25th. Welcome to my channel. Yesterday, we opened up, kind of chopped a little bit for a sec, righted itself, kind of held the previous day's highs, and then pushed up higher. Kind of ranged into the close. Internals were pretty strong yesterday. I expected this movement. I scalped a lot of longs yesterday. Uh, I'm testing some new strategy, and if I really put that trade on, that would have been a monster. That would have been a nice. I think I got almost 20 points in that sim trade. Um, but I'm testing that now, so that's okay. Again, I had a positive day. Um, Working on that eval on Top Step, so I'm trying to get that funded account over 2K now. So I'm just taking my time, picking my spots. So that's going good. Today, there's a lot going on today. Hold on one second. All right, I'm back. I had to help my daughter with something. What was I getting into? Oh yeah, today we have a bunch of data coming out. I forgot to put that on the card because there was a lot of information going on this morning. There's a lot of news coming out with Ukraine agreeing to a peace deal. It's not all done yet. So that's what some big orders hitting the tape lately. Okay. And what else we have? Google is going to make their own semis, their own chips, and Meta is going to be a buyer by 2027 and not use NVIDIA. So that's sending down NVIDIA and AMD this morning and boosting Google again. Google is on a tear lately, a tear. So, and Broadcom as well. I think Broadcom went up 11 cent, 11 went up almost 11% yesterday. And so what else? So that's going on, and then we have a lot of data today. We have PPI. Looks like ADP employment change. It's going to come out now in about 30 seconds. Retail sales. So a lot of what else do we have? The house index at 9, and then 10 a.m. There's business inventories, consumer confidence, pending home sales. Hold on one second. You do this. You twist it. Look. Look. All right. All right. So what else we got? Like I said, 10 a.m. So a lot of data today. I don't know how much this is gonna change what's going on today. If I show you the relative volume, it was finally yesterday was actually decent volume, but prior to this Ukraine peace deal, the volume was not looking so hot. See, we're only at 74% and 81%, but you can see the rise in volume. That's with the Ukraine peace deal. I don't know. The ADP came out, so this is what I was expecting as far as volume. I thought it was going to happen yesterday, but they actually had nice volatility yesterday, and so hold on one sec. Okay, so today should be interesting. Today should be definitely interesting. On the daily chart, we'll get into it. We hit the 50-day moving average, but there's a bar we're gonna have to judge ourselves on. All right, on the daily charts. But without further ado, let's just get right into it. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use market profile, volume profile to find structure in the markets along with supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. That is my edge. Also use anchor VWAPs, market internals when the market opens, bookmap to help me with my particular futures setups, and the weekly expected move that you can get for free from my Discord. Okay, now hopefully you join me every morning. Subscribe, set an alert to my channel, give you the market story, a lot of technical analysis, and then I give you the long and short trade scenarios. I give you the raw deal of the markets, exactly what's going on. Not a lot of fluff or predictions. Okay, we talk about probabilities here. All right, that's what I usually like to talk about as probabilities. Okay, because nobody knows what this market's going to do. If they do, that's a snake oil salesman right there. Okay, I can only go on what I'm seeing with price, right? And I can maybe only say with confidence of a day without a catalyst coming out of what I think the market will do. The next day, I have no clue. Okay, none. Now, if you want more in-depth coverage from myself, you're going to join my Discord. That's Confluence Trading. Okay, go to the YouTube homepage, click on the link, and sign up. What are you waiting for? Let me be your indicator. Okay, I will never steer you wrong. Yesterday was a prime example of my edge with internals. Okay, I knew all I wanted was longs, and I scalped some longs, had a decent day. If with my testing, like I said, the sim trade I put on, I thought about doing it with real money. I thought about it, but I was like, you know what? Let me test this out. Let me get some data here, even though that would have been a 20-point winner. But I'm going to gather some data with that. Okay, I'm going to gather some data with that. And again, if you go to my Discord, you get that free expected move indicator, where 70% of the moves happen inside that range, and they close inside that range. Just like last week, the SPY and the QQQ hit the expected move to the downside and could not go further, right? So that's why I wasn't all about shorting on Friday. Just keeps you on the right side most of the time because it's all about probabilities. Okay, moving on to the futures watch list. Let's see what's moving markets. Okay, metals are getting love today. All right, silver's up 1.65, gold up 1.08. The Russell is up 0.54. 30-year bonds are being bought, which signals lower. Dow is up 0.11. ES up is pretty much flat. Nasdaq was down more than this earlier. Before that peace deal announced, it was down earlier because of NVDA. Okay, but Google is also pulling it up. So dollar's down 0.23. 10-year yield is down 0.42. That's going to help the Russell. That's going to help mortgage rates. All right, the crude is getting blasted today because of that Ukraine and Russia peace deal possibly happening. Okay, usually war, spurs on crude to go higher, even though we were lower. But this is now, if that ends, that's going to send crude lower a little bit. Ethereum is down one. So crypto had a nice little rally yesterday, but today they're down 1.48% in Ethereum. Bitcoin's down 1.70%, back down to 87,000. Remember, around 86, 87,000 is a high volume node there, where I said the market should act like a magnet there. All right, and I believe whatever the structure does, if it holds 86 and starts to move up, you probably go back up. If it can't hold that, you're probably going to go down. Remember, the market only bases in trends, so that's what you have there. The VIX now is down 2.34%, is down to a 20. Down to a 20. Yesterday, I thought the ATR of yesterday in the 5-minute candle would have been less. Would have been less. Okay. Instead, let me just look at it real quick. It was like well, towards the end of the day, but it was like a 15 early on. So I was like, wow, I thought the volatility would have went down more. As the day went on, it did, but early on, it was definitely nice to see that. I don't know if we're going to get that today. It already doesn't look like we are. Okay. But we have to see. Mag 7 Plus here. Google, like I said, making their own chips. Meta is going to be a buyer in 2027. Google is on a tear right now. Okay, a tear. All right, up to 331. All right, Broadcom also up 3.71. Meta up 1.48. All right, Meta had some tough times for a little bit. Glad I added to it. Now I don't know. This could be a bull trap. I don't have no clue. But Meta was down to five. What was it down to? 580s. It's already back to 622. Okay, that might have been it because Meta was bottoming out. A lot of people were looking at their PE. I'm just saying, wow, it's like the best valued Mag 7. Who knows? Anything could change, right? Anything could change. Laggards here, you have Microsoft down 0.5%, Apple down 0.5%, Coinbase down 1.36, Bitcoin proxy. There's the weakness in NVDA from this. When Meta is going to go away from NVIDIA chips and buy Google's chips, sending NVIDIA down 4%, sending AMD down 6%. AMD closed at 215. It's at basically 202 right now. Okay, take a market share away. This is bound to happen, right? NVIDIA just can't be it, right? So, I mean, I don't think long term this is bearish, but this is right now the market's not looking at it like it's like woof. Got to get into Google, right? Top sectors here: United Healthcare, not much to say here. Goldman Sachs. Who's down here? Well, you got Palantir almost down 1%. Oracle is getting smoked, down 1.24%. That was over $400 not too long ago. Qualcomm down 1.62. If you look at the granular list here, let's look at that together. Woo, woo. I think that's Kohl's. I think that's Kohl's. Up 28.10%. I believe this is Kohl's. Yes, Kohl's. They had earnings. Wow. I wasn't expecting to see that. Wow. Then you have Abercrombie and Fitch up 19.42%. Wow, retailers getting some love. Zoom up 5.28. Macy's, so retailers are getting love, up 4.15. Okay. Now, if we look at the laggards today, we have Burlington. I guess that's the coats factory. I'm pretty sure that's the coat factory. What do we have? DraftKings. What is that? That's either Dick's or DraftKings. This is Dick's. Down 3.60. Let me make sure of that. I don't want to make this stuff up. Dick's Sporting Goods. Yep. Okay. Supermarket computers. All right, that's the list there. Let's move on to sectors. Sectors. Obviously, with the NVIDIA down, AMD down, you're going to see semis down, but you're going to see communications up because of Google. Okay, up 1.08%, followed by utilities, followed by financials. Now, energy is down 0.17, semis is down 0.56, and technology, it's the largest weighted sector in the S&P 500 at 36%, is down 0.69. 0.69. Okay, so very interesting here with technology down and a Ukraine peace deal happening. Right now at 8:30 we have PPI. I don't know how much this is going to affect markets. You have a lot of data coming out today. Okay, I really don't know. Let's look at it. All right, so today, ADP weekly employment change, actual. There wasn't even consensus here. Let me just refresh this. I don't see a consensus. It just says previous negative 2.5. This is negative 13.5. Interesting. Let's see. Uh, well, I'm going to go to the numbers that I left. All right, so core PPI year over year, expecting 2.7, previous 2.8. So they're expecting a down in PPI core. Year over year, the headline, consensus 2.7, previous, so they're expecting a rise year over year. All right, now you can see we have business inventories, consumer confidence, pending home sales, all at 10 a.m. Okay, all at 10 a.m. Let's see what else do we have here. Okay, that's our our news coming out. Like I said, in about 4 minutes. Curious to see if that really has any weight to it. See, you can see Ukraine agrees to terms of peace deal. Okay, so what else here? Is there any red other than that? Okay, let's see if Trump has anything on the list today. Trump Turkey pardon at noon. Trump Turkey pardon at noon. But you can see all this coming out at 8:30, which is like I said in about less than 3 minutes. Let's see what else here. Let's go over some stock news here. NVDA stock fell 3.5 after the information reported that Google is sharply escalating its bid to rival the tech giant in the AI chip race, and Meta Platforms is emerging as a potential multi-billion-dollar customer. Dell stock fell 2.1 ahead of the tech giant's latest results, which are expected to be strong as the company almost doubles its annual profit. Best Buy stock gained 2.9 after the electronics retailer delivered stronger than expected results. Dick's Sporting Goods stock slumped 7.4 after the sports goods retailer reported third quarter earnings that fell short of expectations. Kohl's stock soared 24% after the retailer raised its annual profit forecast for the second time this year as it banks on new collections and promotions across categories to drive demand while navigating top-level challenges. Burlington Stores stock slumped 5.4 after the off-price retailer reported third quarter revenue. What else here? Alibaba stock gained 3% after the Chinese e-commerce giant posted second quarter revenue which topped Wall Street estimates. Zoom stock gained 5.5 after the work communications company posted stronger than expected third quarter earnings. Alrighty. Let's go over some more news here. U.S. negotiated Medicare prices for 15 more drugs to test cost savings promise. Thanksgiving air travel plans to cut by the U.S. government shutdown. What else here? Big buzz, small market. Meta's smart glasses are specialty gadget this holiday. Singapore orders Apple, Google to prevent government spoofing on messaging platforms. Okay, and it just says Wall Street futures slipped as investors waited producer inflation and retail sales data for clues on the Federal Reserve cut path. Give you a lot of news there. Okay. I think we can probably just wait for news, and we'll do that on an hourly chart. Okay. So let's go to that hourly chart, and then we might as well do a little hourly analysis here and show you exactly what happened yesterday. We'll get into the internals in a little bit, but let's just see if PPI really can move this market. I don't know. Obviously, it's all about the Fed rate cut, right? I don't know. Now, I'm going to get my marker out here. Marker. There we go. Right. So, remember this triple high volume node? I always talk about that. That's your barometer, folks. That's your barometer. Look what we did. Whoop. Traversed it. Traversed it. Holding above it. That's bullish. We came through all these single prints. They're not all cleared yet. All this was single prints. Once I saw we took and hold this right here, I wanted to be long yesterday. And because that internals. When internals are that strong, we'll get into that. When internals are that strong, you just have to go long. All right? That's a short nightmare. You don't want to short too much. Okay? Let's look at this data coming out in about 4 seconds. Coming out. Let's see. Boom. It's out. Let's see. They're coming in here so far. let's look at these numbers coming in. Retail sales are coming in. Let's see. I'm going to refresh this. I mean, the market doesn't seem to be moving that much. Let's see as they roll in. I'm not seeing the PPI numbers here yet. So no shocking updates here. Why are they taking? Oh, here we go. All right, so PPI, let's go to this here. I'm going to refresh it one more time. All right, so headline number, okay, 2.7 expected, 2.7. Last time it was 2.7. Now, this is September numbers. All right, so stayed in line. The core, I'm waiting for that here. Waiting on that core. We were expecting 2.7. Whoa, I think it just came out, 2.9. Went up. Let's see. It just flashed across the screen. I'm pretty sure I just saw it at 2.9, the core. I don't know why this is taking right now, but the market's not seem to be caring about any of this. In line year over year. The core, I just believe I saw a 2.9 flash above here. Retail sales, let's see that. Retail sales. Retail sales were core PPI reported at 2.9. 2.9. So core went up. Core went up to 2.9, previous 2.8. They thought it would be 2.7. So the market's not really caring about this so much. Okay. Now, let's talk about yesterday really quickly. You could see we consolidated here, right? And then boom, boom, boom. And this is our overnight activity. You could tell these candles are smaller because the relative volume is smaller. Look at that overnight section. See, it was better volume. Okay. Now our goal is, can we hold above these triple high volume nodes? I don't know. But I'll tell you this thing. This thing right here is a very important supply zone. You can see the congestion here in the overnight. You can see that that's where we fell. And you can see all-time anchored VWAP from the highs was resistance here. That was that day with NVDA. We all gapped up in the markets and fell apart. This is the anchored VWAP for the month. So very interesting to see what we do here. Right now, we've come into this supply, and all we've gotten is rejected. All we've gotten is rejected. I don't know what happens from here, right? But like I said, we just need to hold on this triple high volume node. Okay, so this news hasn't really done much to the markets. Really hasn't. Okay, let's go to the NASDAQ here. Get rid of this. I'm not even sure if I just touched this or not. Oh, never mind. All right, let me expand this a little bit. Okay. So let's look at this together. This is our Qs. Pretty much the same, right? Consolidated, pushed up, right? Right to, well, that's not right to. That's the most traded price of yesterday. Now we're getting some wicks. Same thing here. Big supply zone. Cleaned up some single prints from this poor structure yesterday, right? But it's getting rejected here. Now, I don't know if yesterday's was a bull trap move. I don't know. Okay, I really don't have a clue. But we have to judge it here on this 248 because we took back the 248 yesterday. Right? Need to hold above that. Need to hold above the 248s. All right, so we bottomed out last Friday. Boom. You based, you trended, now we're basing. Right? Now we either trend here or trend here. Don't know what we do. Okay? Just showing you guys what's going on. Right now, you're getting a little wick. All right? So you're getting a little wick. Let's just see what we do. That's the hourlies. All right, that's the hourlies. Now we're going to go and look at internals, and then we'll get into the um, daily charts. Okay. Let's look at the market internals recap. Now we opened up, and you see we hit, what did we hit? Previous day's highs, came back into range, right? Couldn't go lower, and then this is what happened. All you need to know is all top 6 sectors were green. Infotech, which is XLK, was up 1.73% from the open. That is very, very bullish. That is very bullish. That is something you don't really want to short at all. That is something you just don't want to short. Okay? I've tried to do that before where I'm like, I think I'm smarter. I think, no. No, no, no. So I was playing around here. I took some scalps here, some here. I was in this long, and I believe this might have stopped me here somewhere. So I got this move. And then my sim trade yesterday was here. Let's see, right here, yeah. Right here is where I had a limit order. Right here, I believe. So this wasn't, price action wasn't here yet. This was, and I just had a limit order like right here. And then I took it out and I went for 67.23 in futures. I think my entry was 67.04. This is SPX, so it's not the exact same. I mean, I could show you on futures. Okay, so that was the sim trade, and I got that whole move up. All right, now this is just beastly. Look at that, 3.71 of volume going up stocks versus down stocks in the Nasdaq exchange. The overall market wasn't that strong. You can see here, only 23 stocks advancing versus decline. That's pretty much parity. But this is the key. The market cap is how our market moves. If you have that thing, especially tech, this market's not going down unless this changes. So that's the internals. All right, that was the internal recap. Now we can go right into dailies. This market's getting some wicks here, so I don't know what to really think about that yet. It's too early to tell. All right, I think it's too early to tell. Let's get into dailies here. Here's our SPY yesterday. And this right here, you got a follow through day from Friday, right? You hit the 50-day, you broke the 50-day, but couldn't close above the 50-day. This is our candle right here from November 20th. That's that big day, right? We broke the lows on Friday, but now that's kind of our barometer. This was our barometer. Notice they're almost the same size. It's pretty interesting, right? Where are we now? 669. We are right here. We're literally at the 50-day moving average in SPY. So this is key. Can we take out this high? I don't know. Don't know. Let's look at futures. Okay, you can see futures. We're holding that 90 EMA daily, right? We're right up at yesterday's session highs. 50-day moving average is still, in futures, is still above us. The 20-day is starting to slope down. 50-day is flattening out. It's kind of a crucial time for the markets. Okay, crucial time. All right, Qs. Here's our Qs, right? We broke this big candle. And then yesterday, what did we do? We didn't go to the 50-day moving average, but we almost did. And then you sold off a little bit. I wouldn't call it selling off. You just closed a little lower. Okay, still within this candle. 50-day here. Where are we now? 604.40. 604.40 is right here. We're close to yesterday's close. Okay. Now you do have a tug of war happening here with AMD down, NVIDIA down, and then Google and Broadcom up. So that's going to cause, you know, a little bit of disconnect in the market. Like, you can go either way. If one of them starts to catch a bid, let's say NVIDIA and AMD catch a bid on the open, so does Google and Broadcom, then you're going to have a stronger market today. But that is pretty, right now, near-term bearish for the NVIDIA and AMDs. It is. That's why they're down. Now, NASDAQ futures. Okay. Here we are. Ooh. That is definitely an inverse head and shoulders there. Okay. So if you just want to look at that, like I said, other people are going to see that pattern really. So let's say that's the neckline, like 250s. Then you got a left shoulder, a head, a right shoulder. 250, probably like my 248, 250. If you break that, you probably go to right there. That's another resistance about to 253s. Then you can make yourself up to the 258s. So just right off the bat, I saw that pattern. Okay, that's setting up. Now who knows? Santa Claus rally. Now, typically in December, the first 2 weeks, a lot of funds have to rebalance and stuff like that. I believe for taxes and stuff like that. That sometimes sends the markets down a little bit, and then you get the Santa Claus. So is that setting up for the first 2 weeks in December? We might push down to these lows. Maybe. I don't know. Right? I don't know. Okay. We are going to, you know what? Let's look up breadth real quick. Now, the market's breadth has improved. We were down to 30% of stocks over their 50% moving average, 50-day moving average. Now we're at 41. So improving a little bit. Improving a little bit. Alrighty. I think we're ready for the market profile and volume profile now. Okay, because we already did it hourly charts. Should be pretty simple today. Like I said, I'm not expecting much today. We do have some news. We do have data coming out, like I said, at 10 a.m. But this volume, I think it's dying. I think yesterday maybe some people traded, and now Thanksgiving's coming. The market's closed Thursday, and then you have a half session on Friday. Most the big boys aren't going to be trading this week. I didn't think they would be trading yesterday, but it looks like they might have yesterday, and that's it. I think that gave us the volatility yesterday. But we'll see. Anything can happen, right? Something Trump can say or whatever. We'll have to see. That's just a wait and see. All right, let's move on to the market profile, volume profile part. We'll go right to that ES. Okay. Pretty giving us nice levels right now. Okay, this is your market profile, volume profile. All right. Let's get right into it. Right off the bat, you have what I like to call confluence high here. Your RTH, your yesterday's highs and overnight highs are equal. Let's call it 67.32. You have the month-to-date anchor VWAP here, 67.39. You have single prints above us, but this big supply zone, that's been a problem for the markets. Okay, this big supply zone. So we're gonna let's mark it this type of range here. Include the single prints in there. There's a possible breakout level, 67.32. Okay, 67.32. I would say you have a little bit of single prints right here. I would say another level to watch would be the 66.89s. That's your value area low from yesterday, and I'm going to include that with the overnight lows, this area. Also a high volume node right here. All right, then the bottom of the triple headed volume node here is your most traded price here around the 6660s. Okay, that's kind of the breakout level of this right here, and you got a big demand zone here. Okay, so let's just break it out, get into it. It's a little baby session here. Very balanced profile. Very balanced profile. Okay. Got. I think people looks like they took profits here a little bit, but like I said, this is a very small range, 30 points from what we've been normally. I mean, yesterday's range was 84 points. That's a pretty large range. Okay. So we're inside yesterday. We're at the highs of yesterday. Like I said, you maintain this triple high volume node. You maintain above it. It's bullish. But I know we just have a big supply zone overhead with single prints. Now, those single prints, if you get a strong market, you can really push up, even though there's supply there. Okay? Even though there's supply there. Now, the most traded price of the week is probably going to move up here to 67.20s today. I can see in the 24-hour session, you can see all this volume here. The most traded price of the week is down here. It will probably move up here. And then you just want to stay around here. Like I said, I don't know how explosive this could be today. Maybe we get continuation up today and in like a short covering way. I don't know. All right. But let's get into scenarios. Start with the bull side here. Okay. Start with the bull side. Now, let's go with our ranges here. All right, so what I'd like to see, remember you got that confluence high here, 67.32s. That's a breakout point. Okay, I don't think it's going to be, it has to be an all-out tech. Now remember, NVDA is down, AMD is down. I don't know if they're going to just get ripped up and bought off the open. Who knows? If they are, right, and then the whole market's getting strong again, I'd like to see this break, 67.32. I don't really use breakouts that much, but I'd like to see some retest of the 67.32s because you're also battling this month-to-date anchor view up 67.39s. You're in supply, but if this market firms up, you can clean those single prints up right to 67.60. There's another supply up here. I don't know how much we get today. Now, if this is a low volume day today and the market's strong, you could just do a melt up. The last of the shorts might cover. Okay. Now, if we dip, all right, so say we dip down quickly to the value area low, like I said, of yesterday. This looks like it's a 50% retracement yesterday as well. If we dip down, that's the week-to-date VWAP right here, and we hold this higher low, this could also meander back up. Okay. Now, I don't know how much I'd be involved in this one, but if we'd have to come down here quickly, there's a pretty big demand zone here in the bottom of that triple high volume node. This would put definitely buyers on notice if we traverse this again. But if we did, maybe you get a bounce out of here. Okay, I'm really interested more in those. I'm not loving any of that really, just because of the supply zone. But if the market's very strong and NVIDIA and AMD are strong off the open with the rest of the market, yeah, we can push through these single prints. Okay, let's go to the short side. Short side, we know we have 67.32. Now there could be a bull trap here. If we push up, you came pre-steal. Boom, we hit that. But if you don't know that 67.39 is the month-to-date anchor VWAP right here, and supply, if you find resistance in single prints, usually that's bearish. If you dip under the 67.20s, we're probably going to take out the overnight lows, 67.01s, and test the 66.89s. This now has thin volume. You could grind right back to 6660s. That could be it, and you just bounce. I don't know. If you traverse this 6660s and you take out yesterday's lows, oh boy, that could get ugly. I don't know if that happens, but that could get ugly. Okay? That could get real ugly. All right, now moving on to the NASDAQ. Here's our NASDAQ. All right, balance profile overnight. We have another confluence high here. Let's call it 24993s, okay? That's yesterday's highs. Overnight highs are very close to it. Very balanced profile. So we're going to have similar levels structure as the ES here. 248s, right? 248s. So if you want this range right here, value area low, the 50% retracement of yesterday, week to date anchored VWAP, overnight lows, 248s right here, high volume node. That's your support. All right. Anything back in here is buyable in this market. Now you have here the close, yesterday's close, yesterday's highs, overnight highs. So this is a breakout level, 24993s, but you got single prints up here with the anchored VWAP of the month right here at your 25102s. Okay? And a big supply zone, just like the ES. Just like the ES. And then you have your, right here, down here, a pretty large demand zone here. Okay? You probably don't, if you're a bull, you don't want to see the market back here. Okay? Now, we have, there's our price action. Okay? There's our price action. Now, just like I said in the ES, the 24-hour most traded price of the week is 24930. You can see it's yesterday's most traded price and the overnight's most traded price, the 24930s. Okay, that's right here. Okay, price is kind of pulling back right now. Okay, need to defend the 248s. 248s is a very important level. All right, let's get into the scenarios and get you out of here. Okay, so let's look at this together. We'll do bull side. All right, so price is here underneath that level. Okay, this is going to cause probably further selling. Let's see how it reacts to this area right here. It's your 248, your high volume node, the 50% retracement of yesterday, and value area low of yesterday. Let's see, and we did anchor VWAPs right here, 24738. So that's a lot of confluence. Just want to see what we do. If we hold it, and you can push back up, there's your breakout, 24993s, and see what you could do in these single prints in the month at VWAP right here, and see if you can clean up those single prints. That would be a 25145, clean up of the single prints. Okay, that's pretty nice. Now, if the market just opens up here at that breakout level, I'd like to see a pullback back to yesterday's highs to go and see if we can melt up. Okay. If you lose the 248s, I probably wouldn't be too much of a fan of a long. Okay. Because if you're down here, most likely the market's not strong. All right. Now you could get a rip down here into this big demand zone. Maybe you get a scalp long, but I'm not a fan. Okay. Let's go short side. If we're looking at shorts here, okay, we know we got supply, overhead supply here. We know we got the breakout level to 24993s. Okay, so what would I like to see? Push up, get this little bull trap in. Ooh, we broke yesterday's high, overnight highs and yesterday's highs, and now we're in single prints. Okay, remember, resistance in single prints is bearish. So if we come here and go whoop, lower high, you come through that 24926s or 3 zeros, you're going to get and break this overnight lows. Now 248 is going to be in your way. That could be it. 248 could be it. However, if it's not, and you break it and you start the hold, find acceptance here, this could get bad, and you could start testing yesterday's lows around the 245. I think that's 245. 1.3s. Okay. And then if you take that out, this pretty big support here, 24361s, that would cause very much panic. Very much panic. Okay. Maybe you test this high volume note here. I don't know. But that would cause panic. That would be the 50-day moving average acted as resistance yesterday, and now that was the all the bulls had. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Okay, but that's how I'm looking at the Nasdaq today. All right. Now, hopefully you enjoyed that. If you did, smash the like button. That would mean a lot to me. Help my channel out. And hopefully every day you guys can join me. Subscribe, set an alert, give you the market story, the technical analysis, the news, the economic calendar, the leaders and the laggards. All right. I try to give you the real deal of the markets. Okay. Try to give you the real deal of the markets. Hopefully I could be your morning coffee, tea, or when you're driving to work. Put me on. All right. I'm going to try to give you all I can about what's going on in the markets. All right. I already told you I don't expect tons of volatility today. Maybe I'm surprised, but the relative volume is already lower. All right. Remember, holiday week. Today isn't going to be great, I don't think, with the tempo. I think tomorrow will be even worse, even as we go into the afternoon, because people are going to be like, I'm out of here. It's Thanksgiving. And then I'm done for the week. Even though we have a session on Friday, it's closes at 1 p.m. I don't know. I doubt it. I'll be trading that. It's probably going to be very low volume. I doubt it. So Wednesday is probably my last day doing videos this week. Okay? Most likely. Unless something comes out where you can get nice moves. I doubt it, though. Okay? I doubt it. Alrighty. Now, if you want more in-depth coverage from myself, you're going to join my Discord, Confluence Trading. Go to YouTube homepage, click on the link, sign up. What are you waiting for? Let me be your indicator. Okay, I know my boy, documents, miles per hour, all the aliases that you could think of. I know when his signals line up and he hears me go, and this is what should happen. Hey, he used me as his indicator. And I expect everyone else to do so. I even expect myself to do so. Because what's been happening lately is, and this is a very good testament to myself, is now everybody knows I'm doing the top step eval, right? My boy, documents miles per hour, 007, he was like, hey, I think maybe you should try to do that. And I was like, wait a minute, why shouldn't I try to do it, right? So, what I would say is this, and whoever listens to me here every morning, sometimes I give you a little bit of an update with me, like almost like a personal diary, right? In the past couple of weeks, last couple of weeks, I've been very frustrated, and even my boy here, MPH, can attest to it, that like when I look at the market, I generally can call what's going to happen. I can generally call with pretty good accuracy what the market's capable of. And sometimes I'll be like, hey, check it out here. We might wick here and blah, 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 whatever, right? Hey, we're going to bounce here. We should bounce, whatever, right? And because I'm so strict with my futures trading and my setups, they just not showing up. I was just like, all right. There's another thing that happened that I was like, think that would happen. But now, what I've been trying to do lately is when I hear myself and I'm narrating on my stream or something, I'll go like this. Oh, I've seen this. This is what we should do. I've seen this. This is when you have this, 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 and this. This is typically what the market does. Well, now in the eval, and this is good for myself, I am actually trading by that edge. I'm actually listening to my own self. As I say, listen to you, you listen to me, let me be your indicator. I'm letting myself be my indicator, right? And what I was doing before, I think I was putting myself in a box like, no, I have to trade this one way. Even though if I just entered this trade, that would have worked. And that happens a lot to me. And I'm like, how can I make money? How can I pull money out of the market on that edge that I have? And I mean, the edge has to be real apparent. Like yesterday, super strong internals. I know I just wanted longs. I know I had no business shorting, right? So I got my longs. The biggest difference now is I'll get into something where I might have a tighter stop on it if I'm taking a shot. If I'm taking a shot as well, I might just throw micros at it to feel it out. So I'm not super. I know that could be a momentum play, and a momentum play for me might be it's a little more risky, so I'll put micros on. But then if I see something like, okay, this pullback usually gets bought, I'll throw a mini on, or I'll put more micros. So that's how I've been trading these markets, right? And I don't know what's going to happen. So far, it's been working. You know, I'm being very, very disciplined. I'm not trading everything I'm seeing. All right. I'm not treating this because I had two other of one of these accounts and I could see, whoa, this is like a video game. Because I wasn't used to trading like that. I'm very like disciplined in my approach to trading. And lately, the momentum has been there to get some of these moves. Now, we are about to go back into positive gamma, which this market will be it won't be as volatile. So then some of the breakouts and the momentums won't be there as much. I'll get my retests. But just wanted to share that with you. It's been working right now. So, you know, who knows what can happen. But I'm definitely not treating it like a video game anymore. This is like something like I'm like, all right, let's see. I think I got to get to 3,000. I'm over 2 grand of profit right now. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm going to pick my spots. But anyway, everybody have a great day. If you want to come, yeah, exactly. So miles per hour right here, 9:45 a.m. I should be live. All right. You can join my boy in here as well. I think another member of the community will be in there as well. So come join. I will be narrating. All right. So everybody, have a great day. Remember, no trades a trade. Hope everybody has a green day. And I'll see everybody in the Discord. If not in the Discord, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.